Hello, my lovely weirdos. Yes, I have tears in my eyes, but it's a happy thing. I found out yesterday that the United States Senate, it was announced by Chuck Schumer, um, has passed the Hearts Act, and now it's just sitting on President Biden's desk waiting for his signature, which I'm sure it will have. What that is to have AEDs in all schools, all teaching facilities nationwide. An AED is those little packs that are very expensive, you know, clear to shock the heart. And the reason it means so much to me is because over 19 years ago, I had twin sons, and they've been living with their dad since they were 7. He's across the country. And this state, New Jersey, does have, I think 21 states, maybe, I'm not sure, have AED laws. But this was a national one. New Jersey, my state, does. In fact, they're in not only teaching facilities, but libraries, things like that. And their state didn't have it as a state law. Past year, they had to go to their state capital 2 different times. One, my Earth twin son and his dad, because 3 years ago, our now spirit twin son, I've addressed this before, dropped on the school track in school. Classes had just resumed. He was a sophomore, so they didn't even get their freshman year in high school, and he was trying out for the track team, which he would have made, and he was like running practice or whatever, and he dropped. He got CPR, mouth for like within the first couple minutes, because as soon as they could get to him, but they had no AED. He was perfect. Both of them were perfectly healthy. He'd played middle school football. Turns out, didn't know what was going on. All they know is he had a cardiac arrest. He was 6 weeks from being 16 with his twin. And just like, I might have to make a couple of those pauses. But his brain was swelling because the oxygen, it was just, he never woke up. 6 days later, he was gone. And he was a hero because he saved 5 people's lives with donations. And like 2 months after, I heard that all 5 were still okay, not rejected. So that's good. September was 3 years ago. When I got the news, I was packing to move to this apartment. So the last few days of packing, I don't remember. Unpacking was a hell, because I was just putting shit anywhere. It didn't matter. I wasn't thinking. And they were across the country from me, so it was just as COVID was easing. And couldn't go for shit. I couldn't see him. Couldn't go to the funeral. And that broke my heart too. What took him away from Earth is called Brugada syndrome. I made a video about it a few days back, so I'm not going to go into it here. but you can hear what it's about. It's important that everybody knows about it because it's a rare heart issue that really doesn't have any symptoms and even can't be diagnosed because most of the time the anomalies on EKGs, if they're not more than one time, they consider them an anomaly, and that's the only marker of this Brugada syndrome. And there's no cure. And according to statistics, nobody that they know that has had it has lived past their early mid-40s. But that's what, I'm not saying it could have saved him, but it might have if they'd had one. And so this Hearts Act is so important. We wanted them. ProjectAdam was trying to get it to be called Rocky's Bill, Rocky's Law. Because all those times they went to their state capital and spoke on the floors to get it for the state, and then having to do it a few times for the Senate, you're talking about a guy that's just a few months past 19 on the spectrum with the same thing, the same syndrome that took his twin away before they even got to be 16 together. And he had to talk about how living with this, knowing it took his twin, and all the things you can't do, and all the things you know that might be dangerous. If you have too high a fever, it could kill you. I mean, what the hell, you know? Most people just never wake up from their sleep or a nap, or just they're sitting watching TV and they have a heart attack and they're gone. Because depending on how severe yours is, what level it is, the first cardiac arrest could tear your heart up so much that, you know. And they're not going to do a heart transplant to somebody who's in a, ICU because his brain's swelling because of all of this. I mean, you can't do that. So there's nothing you can do for it. And then their dad to go talk about what it was to live through all of that. I didn't have to go through that, but I also couldn't be there. I would have in a heartbeat if I could have heartbeat. But yeah, he had to do that all by himself. And the Heroes Walk, when he went to donate 2 days after he passed, they were just keeping him alive for his organs. And he had to talk about that several times in front of all those politicians on the Senate, the House floors. You see how I am. I'm sure trying to hold all of this in while you're talking. Yeah, I could do it too. You get yourself in the right mind as a person looking in and not as a person that felt it. But you're telling them about what it was like for you. So to keep your composure and get it all out, and enough to make a difference and an impact and make them understand why it's so important. I am so proud of them. All I'm seeing is the celebrity Hamlin. He's because he was like getting it to fans and stuff. And he's all the one being mentioned, and it's really messed up because he didn't go to the floors and talk to the politicians that I'm aware of. But my Earth twin and his dad did for our spirit twin and for the Earth twin. So it's awesome news. It's awesome news, and I'm not crying. Well, I'm crying just because I miss him, but because I'm so proud of them. That had to be hard to keep talking about the worst thing that's ever happened in their lives. And do it in front of a bunch of strangers that you know you have to make that impact on. Takes a lot. So, yeah. Thank you, Rocky Gabriel, for saving all the others to come after you. And I'm not gonna say, I deliberately haven't said my Earth twin's son's name or their dad for privacy, but I speak my spirit twin son's name, and I talk to him out loud all the time, also quietly in my head. But I'm just so glad that the percentage of people that'll have the chance now that didn't like my boy will. So, it's called the Hearts Act. Literally, there were a lot of hearts put into getting this done. I just needed you guys all to know. I just wanted people to know that there's 3 unsung heroes behind that bill, and ProjectAdam was having a hard time getting it through with their state, with that state that they're in. My son and his dad. And they were talked the first time in their state, and it was just so close, but it wasn't getting there. And the American Heart Association got involved on the act, you know, to get this law through. And so in these last several months, ProjectAdam, the Heart Association, and my son and his dad were the ones that most made the impact on the federal Senate. And it's on YouTube. It's on the video for the federal government said it. It's on there. It's on not the federal Senate, but their state one, and my Earth twin son got the pen that their governor, their state leader, signed the bill for earlier this year. And I got pictures with ProjectAdam, the Heart Association reps, all that were there that day. He sent me all of those pictures. My boy standing right there at the governor's desk, watching them sign. And I'm not saying man or women, because that, again, it's just halfway across the country is all I'm saying. And then they traveled, like I said, to Washington, D.C. I didn't even know they were going to be there. I'm like, I'm in Jersey. I'm like, several hour drive away, so it's not like we could have seen them, and it wasn't visiting the East Coast for that reason, so you wouldn't want an emotional, seeing them kind of thing. It's been many years since I've been physically in their presence, and it's hard. But boys need a dad, right? If it's a good dad, they get with mom so long, but you also need a good guy influence. And I just want everybody to know the Hearts Act, the people that really pushed that forward were ProjectAdam, American Heart Association, and my Earth twin son and his dad. If it hadn't been for them and the impact, I listened, I watched those videos, and professional videos, not like private videos, of the entire speeches of them both, and I was so proud of them then. I didn't even know if there was one of them on the in the federal floors, but it's it's amazing. 19, and he's managed to get a national bill that's going to save kids and adults in any teaching facility across this country. So if you're in a teaching facility in the future and you or somebody you know there has a heart attack, their heart stops, there's going to be help faster than the EMTs can get there. So that's going to save not only the people, the children and the young adults attending that facility, but everybody who works there, the adults, all the way down to janitors, to nurses, to the parents that come in and out, any kind of functions where people are coming in and out for showing things or whatever. All of them are going to be now able to have something in the nearest, in that building, if you're at there for any kind of function, and something like that happens. So especially since so many of our young people seem to be just and not from selfing themselves or being murdered or overdoses or anything. I mean, there's a lot of them, it seems, that are just heart things, and they just, it's crazy. But yep. So please, President Biden, get out your pen and look for that bill, look for that law, man. Sign that puppy, please sign it quick. We've only got 5 weeks left. Hurry. Anyway, thanks for putting up with my emotions, but there's a lot of pride and there's a lot of grief too in it. So peace out, and at least we got one thing to make us safer before January 20th,